You're listening to the Gem Mint Podcast by GFNF. Your weekly breakdown of sports cards, hobby news, and everything in between. Here's your hosts, Jake and Nico.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Gem Mint by GFNF, episode 4. What's going on, Jake?
Going on, man. Welcome, guys. Thanks for coming back for another week.
Yeah, so let's get into our usual weekly recap of the retail world and retail cards in general. Pretty dry.
Yeah.
We did not see Target again, which I think we were kind of anticipating not seeing anything. We did have Walmart today, but again, it was pretty dry. There was some Pokemon, but we're still waiting on Mosaic Football. I think everyone's just sitting on the edge of their seat at this point, hoping and praying that it drops.
You think it's going to open up at crazy prices because of how long people waited, or do you think it's affecting secondary pricing because we're coming up to the end of the football season here in a few days?
No, I think it'll be strong, especially the mega boxes.
I hope so.
Well, let me see if there's any sales on the 2021, because there was that store that they popped up.
Yeah, I think wasn't that a football stadium? It was the inside store of a stadium.
Well, then it was at the Raiders Stadium because it was Vegas. But no, I think it should hopefully be the product that revitalizes some of these prices a little bit for people looking to make some money buying and selling sealed cards. So otherwise we just keep getting like some brick products. Illusions Football, we did see MetaZoo pop up in store. I know a couple members picked those up. I think they're doing almost 2x online, so
for now
I think they're just booster packs, but we'll see. I'm not too invested in the MetaZoo world. I know you're not either, but
I just don't understand. I don't quite understand, and I'm not I had Pokemon cards as a kid, obviously, and Pokemon prices are insane, and we've seen that roller coaster, especially with the anniversary last year. But MetaZoo to me seems like a TCG that you can't play.
yeah, honestly, I think Pokemon's probably one of the easier ones, and I don't even know how to play that. So I think the chances of me actually figuring out...
Yeah, well, I don't know how to play it.
I think the chances of me figuring out how to play MetaZoo, if it's that difficult, is probably slim to none.
Did you ever own any Charizard rookie cards?
Honestly, I didn't find them. I have to assume I did. Because it was like a spoiled
Charizard first Bowman.
Yeah, I definitely had his first Bowman auto.
Absolutely.
But no, I probably did, but I couldn't find them. So, but yeah, there was one, or actually two, pretty good opportunities today. Actually, the Project 70, so the artist proofs, those were pretty good money early on in the Project 70 life cycle. If you don't know what Project 70 is, it's the 70th year of Topps, pretty much, in making baseball cards. So similar to their Project 2020, they did pretty much just a series of artists that redesigned cards and players and put their own little twist on it. And probably the most popular one, Alex Pardee, who kind of has like I'll intertwine the NFT world, kind of like a mutant kind of vibe to his designs. He released his final design today, which was the 52 Topps mantle. And so each release, they released 51 artist proofs. They early on were doing really well, like the Trout, the Tatis did really, really well. Ever since, I think Topps upped the price like $40 a card, and then also the interest kind of died down a little bit. But we did see a few members hit a couple of these. And I think the cheapest on eBay is $750 right now. I don't know.
Were you able to grab one?
No, I was in the car.
Yeah, a lot of some of our members hit, especially using KSR. I know I saw a couple checkouts and
Yeah, I think one member actually hit 4. I think I saw a couple other ones hit 2. So
yeah, nice.
those,
Those would be good profit.
yeah, those flew instantly. And then we did see the UFC membership, the instant access, that released today. A
Mm-hmm.
lot different than last year's, which was just a $500 membership with, I think it was 325 total memberships. Where this year they had 3 different levels. Uh,
Didn't they have a mishap last year with the membership?
well, yeah, there's like a couple sets and a couple like autographs that never got shipped out, I guess. Uh,
So they said we'll just raise the price this
yeah,
year
well,
to make up for it.
the funny thing is did you hear about the whole email thread?
No.
So they sent an email to everyone about it, but they CC'd everyone and didn't BCC. So like everyone could see everyone else's emails, and there was just like a bunch
Oh
of
no.
people replying all like telling them to f off and whatnot. And so,
Uh
uh,
oh.
but yeah, I mean, unfortunately I missed this today. I know a couple members hit the Hall of Fame, the $4,000 membership, but basically,
It's wild.
yeah, it grants you. Last year the big thing was the white sparkle prism packs, which I think the cheapest right now is about $1,000 for a pack. But this year they really upped it with white sparkle prism, white sparkle optic, octagon side, which is like the select field level, um, like football equivalent, and then the kabooms. So this is like the first year UFC kaboom, and each level had more and more packs, and I think this is going to do really really well. I hope that they deliver because there's a lot of cards that are included with this. A lot of sets, a lot of autographs. I bummed I couldn't hit one. Um, but do you
What do you
think?
think the memberships go for on the secondary market?
I didn't even look if anyone tried to flip it, and I honestly I wouldn't try to flip it. Um, just because I think the money's going to be there regardless if you keep it or if you sell it. But I think you'll be better off holding this and capitalizing on the individual packs. And if you want to gamble, rip them open and grading them. The UFC market's kind of hot. I started to dabble in it a little bit, especially the higher end stuff. And you can get some good entries on some of these guys that are up and coming and kind of low risk, kind of like Bowman stuff. Low risk, lower prospect type pricing. But I mean, my thought was with Panini, Fanatics is in charge. If Panini wants to try to stay relevant or, essentially get bought out by Fanatics, they can't mess up here. Like, this was 50 memberships at $4,000 each, another 125 at 2,000, and another 700 at $800. So it's a lot of money that people are putting out and are expecting
Yeah.
a lot of cards over this year. So I mean, what do you think in general? Do you think I guess a two-part thing? Do you think they'll deliver on the promise and do you think they're gonna be part of the Fanatics plan in the future or no?
Um, I don't know. I'm kind of split down the middle on this. I'm an old school baseball collector, so I'm a big Topps guy, obviously, and I've had a natural bad taste in my mouth with Panini, and they're just terrible baseball products. They do make obviously all the football, all the basketball, but for now. But to me, I believe that they're overwhelmed, obviously, just like Topps was, and I think eventually, Fanatics may make a move on them. The thing is, does Fanatics really need to? We talked about that early on. Like, if they're able to get upper deck, they have Chrome and Bowman now, right, to print basketball and football under. So, do they
Yeah.
really need Prism? Do they need Optic? Not really. If they want a complete monopoly, obviously they'll have to move in on that space, but they have the licenses for those sports. So,
Yeah, I mean, I can't see Panini making unlicensed baseball and basketball and football. Like, I don't see how that could
yeah, and
possibly
it could be
survive.
as simple as Fanatics just waiting them out and bleed them dry, right? If they lose those licenses and can't, they're not doing anything else other than printing unlicensed stuff, then eventually their valuation goes down where they can get them for pennies on the dollar. Who knows?
Yeah, if they could get Upper Deck, I mean, that is definitely a game changer. Just because of the
Definitely.
the autograph licensing and all that. So we'll see. I have doubts about them. There's definitely some FUD around this UFC membership too. Um, so I guess only time will tell if they deliver on all those promises.
Right.
Um, but yeah, let's touch on PSA a little bit. There's been a lot of
Ugh.
PSA in the news. Um, so the backlog. So Steve Sloan, the president over at PSA, said they're currently at about 6 million cards. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, you want to touch on that a little bit?
Yeah. So their peak, he was on a podcast with PSA. PSA is doing a new podcast, trying to copy us. But they basically said they started their backlog at its worst was 13 million cards. They're down to 6, which is a little over half that they've cleared, and they shut down right around this time last year. So about a year,
Yep.
it took them to clear 7 million cards, which is insane. And people were still sending in obviously the high dollar ones for the Express and Super Express and all that, but um, I don't know. Obviously, it's good that they're making progress. They said they want to be caught up by early fall, like completely clearing their backlog. Some of it puts a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth. Obviously, I have a lot of cards sitting at PSA still. I'm sure you do too. But like, when I was at the National this summer, they were doing grading on site and stuff like that, and I'm thinking, you have a warehouse full of cards. What are you doing? That as nice as it is to get $50 cards in on their events that we've been taking advantage of. I'd like to see those cards that are sitting in that warehouse move a little bit too before they start overloading their plate again.
Yeah, I mean, but you also have to think that like, sure they knocked out 7 million cards over the past year, but they also, as far as we know, expanded, grew their workforce, have more experienced people that worked in the space a year ago are more experienced now, can hopefully take on more cards in a day, and I think I could see the early fall. I don't know about completely knocked out backlog, but I could see them taking a big chunk out of it in a shorter amount of time. And I think there's a lot less people, a lot less, I guess, like juvenile collectors and submitters now that that learn their lesson the
Right.
hard way.
Well,
What to send and what not to send. So I don't think it's going to grow at the rate that it grew last year, especially with people just trying to get in like a ton of orders right before they close down.
no
But
one's sending in base paper Kyle Lewis cards anymore.
apparently not. Um, I
Listen
may
to
have,
this.
but
Their 13 million card backlog. Now we know anyone that's submitted with PSA, unless you're dealing with a group submitter. When you're dealing personally with PSA, you don't pay until your order is completed. But so the 13 million backlog, if the average was $15 a card, and you have to assume it was a little more than that with the higher levels, but
mhm.
at the base bulk rate of $15 a card, that's $195 million worth of cards sitting in that warehouse, just in revenue taking it.
Yeah,
So
it's pretty
they've
crazy.
had years worth of work just sitting in there, guaranteed money. So they're doing pretty well. Obviously, that's why they're growing. But that's wild.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna slow down at all. Um, I guess on the front of like grading companies, did you see CSG release their pop report finally?
Oh
Yesterday I
no.
think it was. Dude,
Well, they
it's
followed. Yeah, PSA did too.
oh dude, no, they're pop. Dude, CSG didn't have a pop report. Like you couldn't go see how many cards or whatever were graded.
Oh, just initially. Okay, yeah. So
Yeah, like
PSA released top their top six
oh no
most
no, this
graded
is
cards. But
just a pop report at all. Like CSG didn't have that. It's they finally
weird.
yeah, they finally released it and it's so laughable. It's terrible. I know
Like
my
how many or how little?
no,
I would can't
how
imagine they have that
how
many.
tough they grade and how bad they're squeezing people out from wanting to submit with them. I shout out Ronnie. He put out a picture on Twitter of I think it was like a Prism draft picks LaMelo Ball, and there were more CSG 6s than there were 10s.
Oh,
So, dude, they're really rough. Have you ever sent to them or no?
no.
They're great for buying and cracking. Like if you find a CSG 9.5 that has all 9.5s, there's a really, really, really strong chance it's going to 10 at PSA. But their bulk is quick, it's cheap, but they're so tough that it's like kind of hard to even make your money back.
I can't imagine
cards
a CSG 9.5 sells anywhere in the ballpark of a PSA 10. So I would assume a 6 would sell for about half a raw.
Yeah, yeah. Like I just picked up a Vlad Jr. Topps Chrome Auto. It was all 9.5s and I think 1 or 2 10s for $650. Now the last PSA 10 did $1650. So I cracked.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I cracked that thing and it's on its way to PSA now. But I feel good about it. Like I cracked it, looked really, really clean. So shout out to that person for spending $25 to get it graded with them and not PSA.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so also speaking of pop reports and PSA, we got numbers on the highest for PSA 10. So you want to go down the list?
Yeah. So let's start with the bottom. So the number 6th most common, or not most common, but the most amount of PSA 10 pop report graded in the last 5 years is what they released. So at number 6 we have the 2019, and I'm responsible for a bunch of these. 2019 Fernando Tatis Jr. rookie. So the 410 that came out of Series 2 in 2019, 17,464 PSA 10s.
That's a lot.
And at the peak, I remember, I mean, at the peak of this boom in 2020, that they were going for $300 to $350 a pop for the paper rookie card. And then number 5 on the list, 2018 Luka Doncic, the Prism rookie, just base Prism, 18,206 PSA 10s.
A $2,000 card at the beginning of last season, and now it's I want to say $300 to $400 card.
I think it's $300. Yeah,
that's brutal.
Yeah, it's wild. Let's see. Next at number 4, 2019 Ja Morant Prism rookie, Prism base. Again, the Zion and Ja followed what the people saw the Luka rookie doing. So that was at 19,359 PSA 10s. And then, you want to take the top half?
Yeah, we got some baseball love. So 2018, we had the Soto US 300, which has almost just a hair under 20,000, and then the Acuna 250, which is a hair above 20,000.
Those two both come out of my favorite Topps flagship product, I think, in the last that I can probably ever. 2018 update.
Yeah, 2018 is great. And then rounding out the top is the Zion Prism with over 20,500 PSA 10. It's just crazy. I'm kind of upset you left off one of the names that I saw that I actually just laughed when I saw it. Gavin Lux.
Yeah, Gavin Lux.
I think he was like 8 or 9 with like 15,000 PSA 10. So you could see
here's
where
the thing
people
you guys
got to
realize. You guys got to realize too that there is still a ton of these sitting at PSA. I mean, they got through half, so that you in fact expect these numbers to inflate probably by 50 to 100%.
Yep, it's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, so shout out to PSA, still the fan favorite for sure. Yeah, so we did have the release of Flawless NBA like a week or two ago, and we've been seeing more and more either famous people or personalities putting out these bounties for these cards. So one of the big chases is the triple logo man, LeBron, which he's in the Lakers, Cavs, and Heat on the card. I don't think it's been pulled yet, but we have seen Jared Blesnick, who's a professional poker player. I think this is a little low, but he's got $1 million bounty out for that card. I think it's
$1 million bounty. The way I read it, I thought it was $1 million bounty for linking him to it.
Oh, really?
Or is he paying $1 million for it?
I think he's trying to pay $1 million for it. But I also know that Shine and the other guy, Woot Woot or whatever, they also are trying to chase that card, and I think the two of them will outbid outbid this guy. But it's
Let's
pretty
just pull
interesting
it.
yeah, right. It's pretty interesting. I mean, bounty is something I think more people in cards are associate with breaks, like with break credits and stuff. Breakers put bounties out to push product, old product, or like a top one right now is Joey B rookie autos. Chasing those to get people to open more 2020 product. But now we got people putting bounties out. They don't even want to open the thing, pull the card, sell it real quick. So it's interesting. It gets more engagement in the community and more people.
I like the bounty system. I think one of my good friends and my favorite people to break with real breaks. They do every year for Bowman. They do a Bowman Superfractor bounty. So throughout they fill so many they break probably 100 to 200 cases easy, if not more, of Bowman. But they have a rolling total where a certain amount of money each break gets put into a pot, and whoever hits the next Superfractor first Bowman gets to take home the score, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, my one buddy, he just hit one. He breaks with Firehand sports cards, and he hit that J Rod Kalenic Superfractor, and I think he got like.
Oh yeah,
I think
out
they
of
do the
Bowman's
pot.
Best, right?
Yeah, the Bowman's Best. I think they do like the pot too. I want to say it was like $2,000 bounty that he hit.
Not bad.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. What's not pretty cool is eBay.
Yeah.
So like a week or two ago, we had eBay announce their authenticator system for cards over 750, which I've seen some good things. I've seen some bad things. I saw someone get a pretty expensive Griffey card in the mail today, and the thing was like sliding out of the card saver. Yeah, so not good. But they announced
Typical.
new fee increases for sports cards. So if you don't have an eBay store, it's 13%, and then if you have a store, it's 12%. So they are now, yeah, it's interesting to see what they're doing. Like I honestly thought we were gonna get no fees to try to drive more business to eBay, like we did with sneakers, which now have fees. But for a while, there was no fees with sneakers, and they authenticated. But now we have authentication, and we have more fees. So I typically don't sell on eBay that much.
Me either.
I'll put stuff that is like a niche market. Like if I break open Bowman, pitcher autos, pitcher color, I'll put it on there if I want to move it. But I'll still personally sell Twitter more than anywhere. I know you do card shows pretty frequently.
Card shows. That's another thing that's interesting about the hobby right now. Naturally, for people that have been in this a while, it's pretty slow over the winter time, especially after the holidays. But right about now is when it starts to pick up, just naturally. And I'm telling you, man, the last 2 months at these two card shows, there's tons of people there, and not just that, there's people actually spending money. So you got tax season coming up. People are a little more flush with cash, not having to worry about buying Christmas gifts, and I think we'll start to see a little bit even more of a pickup in the hobby too.
I mean, dude, I had literally five shows near me this weekend, which is just insane.
And I bet you they were full.
They were. I didn't buy a single thing. Actually,
nothing caught your eye.
No, I almost fought a vendor. I didn't want to. All right, I don't want to tell this story, but I'm gonna tell it.
You got to tell it.
Yeah, so I've been looking for some more Formula One raw cards, preferably, and I literally last table walked around the whole show, nothing. Last table, this guy has one. It's in like a Beckett Shield penny sleeve. So it's like this 60-year-old guy and his 40-year-old son that they both think they're 18. So I asked the young son, I was like, oh, can I take a look? So he takes it out. I was like, oh, can I take it out of the sleeve? I don't like to just take it out without asking. And the older guy looks at me, he's like, no. And now I've been buying these at $550 at the high on eBay. And he just looks at me dead in the face, goes, I'm asking $1,100 on that, by the way. So I legitimately,
American?
Yeah. So I was like, oh, okay. I was like, so you don't want to sell it? And so he didn't take nice to that. And, I put the card back and I walked away. And then I
Oh,
won't name any names, but someone I know went back later, and they also approached him. And I warned them about this guy, and his buddy got in an argument with the guy. So the guy ended up telling him they're going for grading, and he's like, "What are you talking about? They're going for grading? Like they're sitting out here. Like are they? They're for sale?" He's like, "No, they're going for gradings." He's like, "Why? Why do you have them for sale then?" And it got it got to the point where the guy removed all the Formula One from his case, from his showcase, and just pulled it all out. Um, so moral of the story: don't be that kind of seller. If
just
you
a little Northeast United States beat down
yeah
of a
if
6-year-old. That's what you're thinking.
if you wanna put something out for show, just market a show. There's nothing wrong with flexing your cards, but like don't put stuff out. Ask ridiculously high prices if you have no intent to sell it.
Yeah, he gave you a price.
I ain't
I
paying
mean,
that. Get out of
well, I
here.
know, but the fact that he even gave you a price meant it was for sale. That doesn't
Exactly.
make any sense.
Yeah. So interesting though, but yeah, let's touch on this upcoming weekend and this past weekend in sports a little bit. I'm
Oh
gonna be
yeah.
honest, did not watch the Pro Bowl. I did catch
No, neither did I.
yeah, I did catch some of the like the dodgeball and the skills challenge, which I thought was pretty
Yeah,
funny.
yeah, it's fun.
Like the catch competition was pretty cool. I don't know if you
I
caught that.
I did not. I did hear though that the Pro Bowl was full of just tapping each other on the shoulder, not really tackling anyone.
Yeah, I
I mean,
saw one
some of the
highlight
stuff I saw.
of Alvin Kamara getting two hand touched, and then he proceeded to fight someone.
And then he
After
proceeded to two-hand touch someone's face in
uh,
Vegas.
yeah, so he got arrested. Um, oh,
Come
Jesus
on,
Christ.
Alvin.
Yeah, not good. I assume he's out now. I'm sure he'll get a slap on the wrist, but
He'll get
um,
the Ray Lewis treatment.
yeah,
I mean, Ray
exactly.
Lewis killed a guy. He's still playing. Or
He
he was
did.
playing. So
Yeah, he did kill a man.
yeah.
Um,
What do you think of the What do you think of the Kyler Murray situation?
dude, I don't know. He's a diva. I listen. Kyler's like he's a decent player. I have called him a fraud in the past because I think he can't play a full season. I think he melts down in the second half of the season. His but his coach is also, I'm gonna shout out to my boy Connor, has oatmeal for brains. Made a lot of questionable calls, so he might just be over it. I don't think his career's done at all, but
I mean, there's rumors now because for those of you who don't know, Kyler was a rookie in 2018. I believe he got selected first overall.
yeah, by the Athletics.
And but the same no so for the Cardinals, the Athletics he got drafted ninth overall. So
Oh,
he was also a first round top 10 draft pick for baseball. Very good. So there's people posting images of him in his athletics uniform and saying he's making the transition to baseball, which as good as these top notch athletes are, it's a completely different sport and not something that you can necessarily just transition that easily. I think that's
Not
probably
even
why
that, dude. Do you think he wants to go from living like the star QB life to a minor league baseball player? Zero chance. I mean,
probably not. Yeah, I mean, because yeah, you're not that's what I was getting at. Like, he's going to spend at least a year or two, if not more, on a bus traveling in rural America playing sandlot games until he's even making it close to the MLB.
I honestly think that he wouldn't want to travel with the team, and then he'd probably be hated by everyone for like living his own kind of lifestyle separate.
Little
So
$1 million quarterback
yeah,
lifestyle.
I think it'd be a little bit of a mess, but we'll see. Maybe he'll get on a winning team, get to the Super Bowl.
Well,
Um,
for those of you that, I guess we should have said this at the beginning, but he deleted all pictures of him in any sort of Cardinals gear off his Instagram. He removed the Cardinals tags and stuff from his profile bio and all that, and just basically kind of scrubbed it. So no one really knows what's going on, but something interesting to keep an eye on.
yeah, and I mean the only way he's getting the Super Bowl this year is either buying a ticket or paying $7 million for a 30-second ad.
Oh man,
Um,
what a deal!
so yeah, I just sent my payment over for my 30
Mm-hmm.
second slot. Still trying to figure
Yep.
out what I'm gonna put on it.
We're
Um,
trying to get our bosses over at GFNF here to pay for the 7 million so we can get a 30-second to promote the podcast. I think that would be well worth it.
yeah, it's been kind of tough to get them to agree to that, but
That's because they got all the money tied up in ETH and NFTs.
I bet if we could see if they'll accept a crypto payment, we might be able to to convince them.
You know who pay for it? McKay will pay for it. Shout out McKay.
Oh yeah,
director. He's got a bunch of money.
Oh yeah,
he can float a $7 million
for sure. And speaking of a bunch of money, high dollar sales. So the high rollers. We got to go to the big one first.
Definitely.
The Jason Dominguez, Yankees, the Martian, top prospect in baseball, Mike Trout Jr., you name it, he is it. The Superfractor Auto PSA 10 sold for a whopping $474,000. I think that was without the premium, right? Without
Correct.
The buyer premium. So it was on auction. If you don't know how these auction houses work, there's also a 20% buyer's premium that you have to pay. So as a seller, I'm pretty sure you get the $474,000, and then the 20% is on the buyer to pay to the auction house. So buyer ended up paying over $500,000. I don't know who bought it. Do you know who bought it?
No one super famous, I don't think.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't see it claimed by anyone. I'm sure whoever bought it will either be very loud about it or we will never hear about where it ended up until he either doesn't pan out or I assume if he doesn't pan out, you'll never hear about it. But if he does, I'm sure it'll be all over. But
we actually talked, I think on the first podcast, we talked about this one being pulled. This was in our monster polls. And
oh yeah.
I think this one too. We one of the other big ones that sold. Actually, this is the cheapest one we have on the list. Tom Brady Green Kaboom from this year, 101 Green Kaboom, PSA 8, which most of the Kaboom seems like, at least the base, most of the base got PSA 8s because of that print line on the top. But PSA 8, 101 Brady Kaboom, 188K.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't know why they chose green. I was never a fan of the green.
Yeah,
I understand sticking with gold for the out of 10 because that's like the the usual out of 10 color, but
right.
It's a cool card. I don't think I'd buy it if I had. I mean, think there's other things I would buy before that for 188,000, but yeah, pretty cool card regardless. One of the most coveted sets, the absolute line.
So I want to compare these two together.
Okay.
The Jason Dominguez Superfractor that we just talked about, 474K. For $1,000 more, 475K was the final sale price. Obviously, probably you could argue the most iconic card, or at least the most sought after, definitely the most short printed and rare. T206 Honus Wagner from the early 1900s. PSA authentic is what it was graded, meaning it wasn't even qualified as a 1. It was just, they said it's real. And it was actually diagonally torn in half.
I have a funny
missing
dad
half
joke.
it. What's that? Lay it on me.
They should call it the T103 Honus Wagner.
Nice.
Because half the cards are the same.
Nice.
All right, continue. Sorry.
Get it because it's half a 206.
Yeah. Okay.
You got to explain it after you. That's part of the dad joke. Yeah. Other than that, obviously, we had a Joe Burrow 101 Shield raw that went for 534. Zion Williamson RPA out of 99. True RPA out of National Treasures did 594. But let's Pat Mahomes gold. But this is my favorite card. Pat Mahomes gold vinyl out of Prism.
Oh, dude, yeah.
PSA 10.
Did you see this? I have to imagine the seller canceled this one, but there was I think it was the Prism RPA 101, like BGS 95, and it was, maybe it was Select. It was a 101 RPA from Prism or Select, and it ended up selling for like 33,000.
That's it?
Yeah. So I have to imagine the seller canceled it. But
yeah.
I thought that was pretty crazy that the out of 5 gold vinyl did.
What about this guy right here?
Yeah, probably the hottest card right now. The Contenders rookie ticket. Well, I guess it's the Contenders championship ticket, right? Or playoff ticket.
Correct.
Tom Brady out of 100, BGS 8.5 to 2.3 mil.
Number 3 all time for football cards.
Yeah, what did the number? This wasn't the number one, right? Number 1 of 100.
No.
Yeah, that one
No.
did. That one did a lot. The number 1.
And I don't think the 12 out of 100 has surfaced, has it? That'd probably be the most.
Yeah,
Sought after.
I doubt that ever surfaces unless someone crazy is ripping open those boxes.
It's probably sitting in a 4-row card box in some old guy's garage.
Probably someone's gonna get lucky at an estate sale or something one day.
Absolutely, not gonna be me.
Nope. Yeah, crazy. I've seen there's a guy at a card show near me that has a couple of these. Loves to make sure you know he has a couple of these. Every time you see him, so shout out to him.
Yeah. We had some, not a ton of massive pulls this week. Definitely a few cool ones. Well, I guess one massive one.
Yeah, there's one big one.
We had the 2 little ones we put on here. Mac Jones RPA out of 25 out of the new Immaculate, which is a beautiful looking card. Pulled by Real Breaks, our boys over there. That was a nice one. And then Leighton had the other 2. Leighton pulled a 2020 Select Football Justin Herbert Gold out of 10 field level. So that'll be at PSA. I'm sure we'll see that in the PSA sales here in the next month. And then the big dog, Anthony Edwards Flawless Logo Man 101.
Yeah, I mean, life-changing card for sure. Yeah, I mean, you have to imagine whoever's paying that much money for those breaks anyway probably is decently well off, or they're just addicted to breaks, which is also possible.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, really
wild.
Dope card.
What do you think that? What do you think that goes for?
I mean, the Natty Treasure Zion at a 99 did 600,000. I mean, you got to imagine it's doing
half mil.
I would think more.
Yeah,
I would think someone's willing to.
I mean, I guess Zion, Anthony Edwards is as hot, if not hotter, than Zion right now. So
yeah, so we'll see. I did see. I was watching Nick over at NZ Sports Cards last night, and Phil Hughes. He always hops in there and buys some stuff. And Phil bought 2 boxes of 2020 Mosaic Choice, which has like the peacocks and stuff, and ended up hitting a black and gold to 8 NFL debut Joe Burrow. Absolutely,
gotta love that.
Yeah, insane looking card. So
yeah, that's cool.
That was a pretty cool one to see. Yeah, so on the horizon here, Mosaic Football, hopefully, probably next week or 2.
Desert, dude. Just dry as all can be.
Yep. 2022 Donruss basketball. Again, don't really expect anything big on that. And then we have 2 big releases next week. F1.
Yeah, baby.
And then Top Series 1. So we'll see how crazy prices go on that. I mean, probably a decent long-term hold. You know, if you get a couple jumbos or hobbies and stow those away, I think Wander could really keep that product alive.
I agree.
So
I got a couple cases coming in. I broke down and bought a couple jumbo cases, so
yeah,
we'll hunt some Wander autos.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll probably rip a box or 2, but I'm not going to go too crazy. But I'm interested to see what the prices of his stuff does. I'm sure it'll go crazy at the beginning, but yeah. So we're gonna end this with a guest here. So we're gonna bring
special guest.
Yes, very special. The namesake behind GF&F.
The G of GF&F.
Yeah, the G of GF&F, Garrett. So, yeah, let's hop over to that and chat a little bit with him.
Okay, we're here. We're welcoming our first guest of the podcast, and we're excited to have him. We have Garrett here, who is the G of GF&F. Garrett, thanks for joining us.
Honored, man. No, I appreciate you guys. I love the show that you guys have started crafting, and I'm more than happy to be here. So, yeah, heck yeah.
We're grateful for the opportunity. Why don't you start us off? Tell us a little bit about how you started GF&F and where it's gone and stuff over the past couple of years.
Cool. Yeah. Well, my whole life I've been into buying and selling stuff on eBay and other platforms, literally since as far back as I can remember, hustling Pokemon cards, and moved on from that. Got really big back into sneakers, I should say, about 3-4 years ago, and then came across some really good friends and good connections in the industry. Vince, my business partner, being one of them. And yeah, we had basically just had the idea. There were other paid subscriptions and paid groups, but at the time, a lot of them were just run by what we felt was just pretty. They were run in unprofessional environments, and we just felt that they weren't optimized in a good way, and we could do it better with as much money was on the table. And yeah, that's basically how GFNF came to be. Started really heavily in sneakers and just general collectibles, and then dove very much headfirst into sports cards when that market exploded a couple summers ago here, or even a little bit earlier, I should say. So sports cards are really what led us. I would say for about a year, really the heaviest focus for most members. It was one of our more profitable categories, and the drops and profitability was just all very consistent. And then over the last year, the whole world and industry has kind of been taken by storm via the digital, now being, NFT space. And it's crazy. I personally got pretty involved in August of this past year, so it's been maybe 7-8 months myself, and it's really taken over and become one of the front running focuses of the company at this point.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's one of the things we all love about JFNF is it's so dynamic and it changes, daily. And what we're focused on is whatever's hot and whatever's trending, and to be able to go from sports cards to NFTs to vinyls to everything else we do is really cool. Now let's talk about obviously the NFT side of it, the digital asset side of it. GFNF is going really strong in that aspect right now, and we're starting to see a little bit of bleed over into the sports card and sports memorabilia realm, stepping into that. What's your thoughts on that? What you've seen so far? Do you see potential in that with sports and NFTs?
Yeah, I think it's beyond potential, man. I think a lot of it's just a matter of time in terms of when mass adoption is really seen. Really, I'm a firm believer at this point that this industry is not. It's not a bubble or a niche or anything like that. It's literally technology. It's a new that's going to take over the world as we know it, and the way that we interact with each other, and the way we sign contracts with each other. Whether that's a small, big contract, whatever it is. I really believe it's all going to be transitioned via blockchain. You see every single corporation in the world that is worth a dime has invested billions and billions and trillions all consecutively into this space. So I really think that it's just a matter of time until we see mass adoption. And in the here and now, I think that it's totally normal that people are reluctant or calling it a fad, or really holding on to like the old ways of collecting, I guess you would say, and not being quick to adapt into like the digital. But it's interesting because there is so many of the arguments used against NFTs can be spun back to sports cards, or really in terms of what they physically are intrinsically, right? People are like, hey, well, this is it's a picture, it's a token, it's nothing, right? I mean, that argument still could be, hey, that's literally a piece of cardboard. It would be the argument for a sports card that people could draw. So my thoughts are that we're going to see mass adoption, and that includes 100% of like future collectibles and sports fans and sports investors and everything else. I mean, this asset class, we've seen the birth of an entirely new asset class that's perfect for collectors. You can't fake it. You can't trim the edges on it. There's no shady stuff like that. It's all fully transparent. I mean, really, it's a collector's dream. So you already see some NFT projects that have like a really dominant sport like presence or theme that have done well. Obviously, there's the NBA Top Shots and Megacorps that have already made waves in the space. You see Topps and Panini got really into dipping into the NFT space early, and they're really going to continue that, in my opinion. So yeah, I think it's just a matter of time, and slowly but surely we're going to go from maybe 90% physical collectibles for sports memorabilia and 10% digital, and I think that we'll see those numbers flip over the next 5-10 years here, to where 90% of what people are going to be collecting is going to be digital in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, that's exciting. So yeah, we see DraftKings stepping into the space, Sports Illustrated, like you said, Panini and Topps, which is probably going to end up being Fanatics anyway. Do you
Yep.
see? Yeah, like we talked about. I think we talked about this in the morning meeting this morning. But you have your old timer collectors that want the physical cards, but at the same time, the same people were making that argument about calling the internet a fad when it first
Yes.
came out, and something to be this early on something. You're going to take some L's. It seems like you're gonna have some major wins, but being this early in the game can't be a bad thing.
No, it's definitely not. And obviously you need to be careful, because like in the tech boom and internet boom of the 90s, right, the dot-com bubble, so many people got burned because the people that did realize how big and life-changing the internet was going to be for the planet as we knew it, there was so much excitement and hysteria that money flowed, and then one day it stopped, right? and then one day there's no greater fool to sell what you just bought to, and then that's when people start getting burned. So I think we're virtually in that exact same time right now, man. It is like the same way people are calling the internet a fad, people are calling NFTs a fad, and this technology, this tokenization and blockchain native way of communicating and transacting, it's where we're going. I mean, even just today, and this is definitely not in the direction of cards, but you have all the big corporations like McDonald's and Walmart. They're talking about their virtual shopping experience. You're going to go and shop through the store digitally, and then it'll be delivered to your house, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I really think that the old timers in the hobby, I see some of them, man. I see some of them getting just dabbling, so you see some people on hobby Twitter that are a little bit older, whether it's 40s, 50s, even a bit older than that, now with NFT avatars occasionally. That inclination towards collecting, I think, is pretty big. So I'm not concerned about mass adoption. And so much of the excitement and buzz and media attention and upward mobility in the hobby over these last couple of years has been all the young dudes getting into it and getting excited and getting passionate, and all that money flowing in that hasn't been here before. And that's the genre of people that are diving headfirst into NFTs.
I think people are under the impression that these two things can't coexist also.
Yeah.
Like the idea of like a physical sports card, but also a digital asset to go with it. And I think like one of the things I've been keeping my eye on is Topps with their Candy Digital, just because Fanatics is behind it, and now they're going to be cornering this market. One of the things I like that they're doing, I know this was one of the big things with Top Shot, was kind of like set completion. So with Top Shot, you go collect moment A, B, C, and D, and you get this moment, for collecting all these ones. And with Candy, I know one of the big things they did was they collaborated with an artist. They created an NFT for the stadiums. You collected all the stadiums. You got a physical art piece that had all the stadiums on it. So I could totally see them taking that kind of route with sports cards, and people, especially in today's market, rarity is like the king. At the beginning, Jake and I kind of touched on this earlier, where people were sending any card possible to get graded, because you can make money on it. Now it's different. It's all about rarity and scarcity. You can't really make money on these lower end things. So if they offer the ability to grant you access or opportunity to purchase a physical asset by collecting, A, B, C, and D digitally, I think that's going to drive a lot more traction towards it. I was involved in Top Shot pretty early. I made some good money on it, but I also saw a lot of people get seriously burned, which I think left a bad taste in some people's mouths.
Right.
But, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I think that you put it really well. It's not that these things can't coexist. I think that quite the opposite. The physical assets and digital assets can be leveraged off of each other to create a better experience for the buyer. You know what I mean? Whether that's, it's like the same thing, man. You find something cool in like your box of Cracker Jacks. Imagine finding like some type of tokenized asset in a box of cards, or the opposite. You know what I mean? A box of, you get a subscription to whatever card product it is because you're a token holder of whatever NFT it is. Like the possibilities are endless. It's not like, nobody's suggesting that the sports card as we know it and the rookie card as we know it are going to be NFTs necessarily in 5 years. Like that's not where my head's at. My head's more like, no, these tokens can grant access to the product. They can be used for like one-of-one pieces, different one-of-one digital collectibles that coincide with this physical market. I mean, trust me, dude, Topps and Panini, they have the printing presses down to a science. So they're obviously going to keep making money in the physical world too. I just think that this is going to add a whole new level of experience for collectors in a good way.
I don't think Fanatics is not a almost $20 billion company for making poor decisions and stupid decisions in the market. They're going to capitalize on this. Like I think a lot of it's going to be fan experiences. The exclusive packs, exclusive stuff. I mean, we see this with the memberships now. There's no reason, like the UFC membership we saw Panini release today. There's no reason they couldn't have done an NFT, and be able to transfer ownership, via the NFT.
Exactly.
It makes it safer and easier to sell. Because going on eBay and trying to buy, like if I saw Jake put an eBay listing up for his membership, what's to say? I'm guaranteed I'm going to get, actual ownership of it. He's not going to scam me. So there's definitely is that layer of security with blockchain and with NFTs, and I'm interested to see what happens. Like I'll fully embrace it. I'm interested to see how they leverage it, and I think they're gonna try to squeeze every last opportunity out of this.
Definitely, man. I mean, even the Super Bowl this year, right? I don't know if you guys have discussed this yet, but they're giving NFTs to every attendee of the Super Bowl this year. I don't know if you saw that. Basically NFL partnered with Ticketmaster, and every attendee ticket holder is going to receive one NFT in commemoration of this Super Bowl. Like, and in my head, I'm just thinking, okay, this is the first official NFL NFT. This is the first Super Bowl NFT. What's this going to be worth in 10, 20, 30 years type of thing? It could be incredible. And just fan experience, man. Imagine there's like tokens or anything mixed inside card products or any type of sales that grant you access to games, like meet and greets with players. It's just, I don't know, Fanatics has the opportunity to really streamline that entire fan collector experience as we know it.
Yeah, and I believe that it goes even beyond the space of just collectors. I think stuff like sports NFTs can benefit and be of value to players themselves. I mean, if players have any sort of, we know most of the players unions and stuff are well involved in the sports card industry as far as equity, and I think that just pours over with NFTs. There's also, as we know, the metaverse growing, and what stops these. Let's trademark this idea right now on the podcast, just in case it ever becomes something. What stops these sports owners, these teams, from putting virtual reality seats in their stadium courtside that you can have access to?
It's coming.
You can definitely sit courtside. Right from your couch.
I know David Guetta, big DJ. He just held his first metaverse concert.
That's exciting.
Yeah, pretty cool. I mean, like, just look at like Fortnite. I don't know if you remember or ever saw like their in-game concerts and stuff they did. I totally think like there's definitely application in that space for that kind of stuff. And I guess like for me at least, I guess one of the things that kind of has driven my interest away from NFTs is like there's so many projects with like no utility at all. Like, okay, it's just like cool art. The team seems like legit. That I think this ability, and I think that's a lot of people's stigma with it too, is like there's no use for it. I think if they put some sort of purpose behind it, which these big companies have the ability to do because they have the money to spend to promote it, I think a lot of interest will pick up especially from people that might be a little down on the idea of digital assets.
Yep.
Yeah, and we one last thing on the NFT thing. We talked about this a little bit earlier, but just for example, the Senior Bowl, which is this year, it's coming up. The top seniors in college across the nation get to play in a bowl game that is basically an extra showcase for the pro scouts, and they're all getting a 1-on-1 NFT of themselves for participating in the Senior Bowl that they're allowed to sell or keep, and that could, now that the NCAA has agreed to allow players to profit off their name and stuff like that, that opens a whole nother door there as well.
Yeah, I mean, goodness gracious. Right now, because of how early we are, it's almost like people would expect to see some type of value created via, whatever, fan experience or something like that. Like direct value created. But in the future, when this type of asset is so commonly held as far as digital assets go, then it could be as far as just, hey, this is the first NFT that was ever signed off by Tom Brady. This is the first NFT that is officially licensed by Topps that contains player X. You know what I mean? That could be treated just like the rookie card market in the future. When you think about where the value comes from, it's scarcity, and once the demand and demand, of course. So I think once we see more transition, the sky's the limit for all of this, man. And it's really exciting. It's kind of weird because I feel like we're just on the balances between two different types of collecting and two different types of people. But we're seeing more and more people get into the NFT space every day.
Yeah.
Well, that's all we got on our list. Garrett, I thank you very much for coming on with us, man. This is exciting stuff, and we want to stay on top of it. I'm sure we'll have you back on again soon because this is something that we're so early on with GFNF, and just the ceiling is endless on what we can do with these. Before we let you go, though, we do have a couple things to talk about. Number one, we need your Super Bowl predictions. We're gonna all do them right here live so we can see who was right. What's your predictions for the Super Bowl?
Oh goodness. Bengals. That's all I know. I'm rooting for the Bengals.
Okay,
as far as actual scores though, that's tough. I don't have much word on that.
I'm also
How about you guys?
I'm going 34-31 Bengals. And the reason I picked that score is someone posted online today. Apparently that was a scene in one of the Simpsons episodes.
Oh my God.
So. Wait, same teams?
Yeah, Bengals in the Super Bowl 34-31 over the Rams.
You literally have to. You literally have to bet that. Like
almost.
I picked that too. Yeah, I picked that too. 34-31.
I was gonna pick the Rams, but now I'm gonna pick the Bengals 34-31.
There we go. Yeah, you heard it here first.
Easy.
The other thing too, we talked about a little bit earlier before you hopped on here. Nico was talking about that the Super Bowl ads this year cost $7 million for a 30-second slot.
No way. That's way up, isn't it?
Yeah, we want to promote the podcast. Is that an invoice we just submit to you, or how do we do that?
I have the card.
Yeah, we can start that payment process. It'll probably need to be like a 2 or 3 lifetime payment, but I think it'll be worth it to get some eyes on the podcast. So.
I agree.
Totally worth it.
So,
crazy.
Yeah, people heard it here. Garrett gave us the okay to get the Super Bowl commercial, so
let's go. Yeah. I'll be right next to the Bored Ape Yacht Club commercial this year.
There we go. Well, again, thank you for joining us, guys. Thanks for tuning in. That pretty much wraps it up. Go ahead, Garrett. Tell us where we can find you on the social medias.
Cool. At Garrett's Kicks on Twitter and at Garrett's Kicks on Instagram as well. GFNF is the company, of course. GFNF __. You can find us on all socials. YouTube, TikTok are some of the newer ones. So yeah, check us out. Really, we're everywhere. So.
Yep. And Garrett runs a daily show, mainly focused on NFTs and stuff. That's also on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. We can link that too. And yeah, excellent. Again, thanks for joining us. I'm Wrigley Elite SC on all the socials. Nico, go ahead and drop yours.
I'm NaffyBoy13 with 1 F, not 2, like the guy that tried to impersonate me again on Twitter today. So shout out to him.
Yeah, that's my burner account.
Yeah, that's Jake's burner account. But yeah, thanks guys. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Later, bye.
Cool. Take it easy.